Good morning. Welcome to another battle report for NorCal Malibra. Coming here from rainy Northern California, which is probably about the one good thing happening right now, in some ways. Since we've had a single day of rain in the last 40, and this is supposed to be our rainy season, I'm suspecting California is headed right back into a drought. It seems like I open these things a lot with disasters, whether it's Northern California on fire, Australia burning into the Pacific Ocean, Iran and America launching missiles at each other. It's a plague. It's a plague today for today's. And with that, Adepticon has been canceled. Pretty depressed about that. It's the right thing to do. Totally understandable, but it is literally the only tournament I've got on the foreseeable future. It would have been my first tournament of the year. Would have been great seeing not only you know friends in the Malifaux community. It was looking forward to tipping a beer back with the Schemes and Stones boys. And I just got a lot of friends in tabletop miniatures all together, whether it's 40K or Warhammer Fantasy or what's the one with kind of the ancients? I keep forgetting what that one's called. Had some friends go over that way. Infinity as well. Um, you know, gonna miss seeing a lot of the friends I've made over the years. But hopefully something else will come up. Maybe I can use those vacation days. And certainly I've got a pretty good credit on Southwest Airlines at this point that I've got to use up in the next 12 months. So we'll get somewhere. We'll get out there. With that said, just got back from the store. I think I had to put all the tack gear on and fight for things like, I don't know, peanuts. There was certainly no toilet paper left. But the one thing I did focus on was setting in a supply of gin and limes. So at the very least, I'll be keeping scurvy away. And sat down, got a little tired of binge watching Chopped and hearing my wife explain the ending of The Bachelor to me, and so decided to record this battle report. Let's see what we got going on. So we got Corner, Corrupted Ley Lines. This is all GG Season 1 now. Let Them Bleed, Take Prisoner, Hidden Martyrs, Sabotage, Vendetta. As you can see, this was the third round of Adepticon. I'd posted earlier in the week, I wanted to get an ACON practice game in or two. By this time, we had known it had been canceled, but we went ahead and played the game. I really struggled with this scheme pool. I had built 3 lists with 3 different masters on 3 different ways I wanted it to go. Since this, Adepticon had been canceled, I went with what I would consider a fun choice, just to see if I could make it work. This is a master that's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's actually the first master I bought for Malifaux. And I've always kind of liked his theme. He's always been kind of a middle of the road. Not the weakest master of the Arcanist faction, but certainly not the strongest over time. So yes, I declared Marcus. This is the new artwork. I've got the old set, and with the changes that recently came out, a little buffing of Reva, Josh decided to give Reva a try. So my app was acting up this week, and I don't know if it's just because they were updating it and doing all this stuff. And I had designed a Marcus list I had liked, and so I loaded it in. And as soon as Josh goes, "Oh, you're taking Kojo," I was like, "No, I'm not." And so I looked. It's like, "Oh, this was the very, very first one I designed." Somehow it had reset, but I just, again, just decided to go with it. Let's see what Kojo can do. So we got Marcus. The Jackalope, which is just a great totem. It really is. Miranda, Kojo, Blessed, Slate Ridge Mauler is a bit of the tech choice for this strategy. Soulstone Miner, still haven't gotten rid of the crutch. And then Arcane Effigy. I think I've got 4 stones, 3 or 4 stones, somewhere in there. A couple, a stone or two more than I usually take. And then went with Reva, or I didn't. Josh did. So Reva, the couple corpse candles, he loaded up with upgrades. I think this is the most upgrades I've seen on any list. Um, Vincent St. Clair, Shield Bearer, Lampad with Grave Spear's Touch gives it terrifying 11. Another Lampad, and then the Restless Spirit. The Lampads, they're a little pricey at 8, but they're really good models, and they would impact this game quite a bit. So you've seen some of this terrain before. We've got some hazardous up in the corner there. I would end up deploying in the bottom right corner, leaving the top left. He won the attacker for initiative flip, whatever you call it, to determine sides. I would have taken that upper left. My crew doesn't care about severe, which with this big forest would have been pretty handy. With that said, because of that, I think I fell into a trap here, looking at that big piece of forest. So I would take, my decisions were take prisoner on the shield bearer, and I think the more talented players out there will immediately see the issue there. And then I took sabotage on that big piece of forest terrain that was sitting in the back there. Felt I could get to it. I had some leaps. I had a lot. Marcus is a very fast crew at the end of the day, so I could get there pretty easily. Drop some scheme markers, etc., etc. My opponent would take Vendetta with St. Clair versus Kojo, and then Hidden Martyrs with one of the Lampads and was it Restless Spirit. So pretty much my deployment, I would end up giving the lodestone to the Soulstone Miner. I don't think a lot straightforward. I'm kind of towed in the concealment train, so I can get a push with the bear there. The only thing that fly in the ointment, so to speak, was the Blessed doesn't have unimpeded. So if I can't leap out of there, I'm in a bit of trouble. And hint, I don't. So I kept on thinking his stuff was incorporeal. It's not. Lampads are very fast, and they have a special movement hovering flame that allows them to move through models. So they're effective 15-inch movement models, which is dang good. Reva herself is unimpeded, but the rest I don't think are. Maybe the Restless Spirit. So he's kind of clustered around there. So typical early days, he's setting things up, getting his corpse candles out front. He's already got his Restless Spirit touching the marker there, the strategy marker. So I would do the same, and the Soulstone Miner's well hidden there. He would simply, Soulstone, mine for a Soulstone, step forward into contact, and then would drop a scheme marker on this piece of terrain. My thought process being early, drop a couple scheme markers touching terrain that would qualify for sabotage, just to make it harder for him to score it in case he took it. So you can see this is the end of the turn. You see with the Blessed, I also dropped a scheme marker there. I think I ended up putting one. This isn't the end of the turn. This is pretty close. The Arcane Effigy would run up and drop a scheme marker to touch the house as well. I failed a leap. My hand was, pretty garbage. I'm not worried about it in corner. I had, like a 10 or no, a 12 and a red joker in hand. But the rest were like 4s and 5s, and I had a couple moderates as well, but I had to use those to spread the upgrades around, because I kept on flipping 3s and 4s on that as well, making it pretty difficult. Oddly enough, I'm sitting there going, God, I got half my deck here. I've seen one severe, and I'm sitting there going, maybe I should be pushing the envelope here, because the deck at this point is pretty stacked. I'm looking at my hand and have one Severe and the Red Joker in hand, so there's a lot of Severe sitting in half a deck, with a lot of my my weak cards already out. But there was no way for me to really push. So I did a lot of focusing. If you want to know where the upgrades were, Natural Camouflage was on the Slate Ridge Mauler. This gives them Disguised and Stealth. And if you're not seeing this, the next turn, the Soulstone Miner will walk over, bury itself, which will automatically pass the Lodestone to the Slate Ridge Mauler. He's a pretty good scheme runner there with Laughed Off. He can't be moved away from the marker when he gets over there. Can't be targeted from outside of 6. Can't be charged. So a lot of good things going on there. I gave Natural Camouflage also to Miranda, who's set up to move the Slate Ridge Mauler. So my thought process with this crew is you have both Marcus and Miranda who can do a pseudo obey on most of the crew. And you can actually do it more than once a turn, if need be. And so I can scoot models out of activation around pretty quickly here. I've got a flight on Kojo because flying monkeys are amusing, of course. I've got armored on both Marcus and the what do you call him? The Blessed. This is him just continuing to move forward. Not a lot to say. It's not even the end of turn. He's still got, I think he's got everything out there. There's a land pad behind the house on the right there. The only thing he's not activated at this point is Reva herself. So this is his game state. He thought about going hard into the Slate Ridge Mauler, but with the Natural Camouflage up, he get just one attack. So he was pretty conservative, moved forward, I think focused, messed around. He did not play his list as efficiently. This is the first time, obviously, that he's played it. So I think he could have played it slightly more efficiently with some of the positioning, but it's was a learning experience for both of us. Now, as I said, my game plan was to toss the Lodestone to the Slate Ridge Mauler. Not toss, I mean just bury myself and would go there. I use Miranda at this point to walk the bear over there. He's got so he has not activated yet. I'm trying to think if I don't think I've gone with Marcus, or maybe I did. But anybody that knows Reva can see one fundamental issue here, which is Josh has moved his corpse candle up to be within 2 inches of the bear and 8 inches of Reva. This is going to be bad news for me. So he smacks the bear around. Min damage 3, brutal, really brutal. I would end up scooching the bear over, but he's only got 2 health left. And the land pad's able to walk over, swing once, and finish the bear off. That tosses the marker all the way to the Blessed. The Blessed, the Blessed is there because Marcus has not gone yet. I'm sorry, Marcus had gone, had instructed the Blessed to go over there, had handed out a bunch of the rest of the upgrades. The Rabbit's got an upgrade. There is now Flight on the Blessed, but the Blessed has not activated, fortunately. So this is end of turn 2. I sent Kojo over, went after that land pad. That's way off to the left. I was going up, tossed him back. Didn't toss him, just did Root Sign Language. Unfortunately, toss is not a claw action, so I had to walk and then charge. And then I had the card in hand to do the Root Sign Language to push him back even farther. So it's totally push him back 5, but with Hovering Flame, he was able to get to the center objective here. He's got the Lodestone on him, At this point, I think the Restless Spirit had tossed it over to him earlier. Here's the mistake I made, and wouldn't you can't see it, but the Jackalope is not in contact with Reva. He's in contact with St. Vincent and the Restless Spirit, but not Reva. And he's got a 0-inch engagement. And the bear would be alive if I had just put myself in contact with Reva. I'll talk more about this, but this is a picture to remember. Um, it, again, just not knowing what Reva does really cost me at this point. So we both declare the strategy 1-1. I think I command the Blessed to get out of there. It takes a little bit of burning to get there. I ended up not wanting to make the same mistake. I'm not sure why I threw the rabbit over there to engage the shield bearer. Can't do much. Maybe I wanted to make sure he stood there, whatever. But I definitely got the Soulstone Miner in to engage. Not like, thinking I'm going to lose him at this point. Probably should have. Turns out he's nervous that the Soulstone Miner is one of my Hidden Martyr. So he's guessing I've got Hidden Martyr, and that's one of them. With the new rules, though, if I pop him up and charge him and he manages to kill the Soulstone Miner that turn, he does not count for the strategy. So I think this is a blown opportunity. He should have just gone all in, killed the Soulstone Miner, taken it off the board, would have kept me from mining Soulstones. So I had a fair number this game. And, cut down my hand size, and then finally just... since it doesn't count against the strategy, this is the turn to kill him. So I run Marcus up. The Blessed takes off, just runs twice. He's got flight, so +1 movement. He can't fly, but the +1 movement still applies. And he's in contact with the strategy marker down on the lower left. I command Kojo to charge St. Vincent over the house since he's flying, and swing at St. Vincent. I think I missed, couldn't get the hit off, but he has not activated yet. The rabbit's still over there, oddly for some reason. He pushed the Soulstone Miner back with like a terrifying or something, so he's no longer engaged. I ran the effigy off to pull the burning off of the Blessed, and be in position to start chucking the lodestone around if need be. So feeling pretty good. Feeling I'm gonna get my take prisoner here. So that 2-inch reach is pretty brutal. Hits Kojo. I've got butterfly jump, so I hop away, but he charges me, hits me again, in which case I'll, jump away a little bit more, and brings him down to a single health. Oddly enough, St. Vincent had shot Kojo earlier in the turn as well, and hit him for some damage, and Kojo's sitting at one health at this point. He has not activated, and I would end up doing Rude Sign Language to move models away, and then go after the shield bearer who's already activated. So he flies over, hits the shield bearer. I think doesn't do any damage. 2 with armor and a shielded, but I didn't care about that. It's a 2-inch push that I can do, moves them even farther away. I'm sitting there, and so this is the end of the turn, and I declare take prisoner. He declares vendetta, St. Vincent on Kojo, and so we're about to tally everything up, but yeah, it turns out Mr. Kojo had a burning on him. So that 1 health, he goes down to 0. And so I don't get my take prisoner, nor does he get his vendetta because he is off the board. So we both lose out there. Not only do we lose out, we've announced what our schemes are, which would impact the rest of the game. And so we are only, each of us only score the strategy. All right, so knowing what he's got, I'm going all in to get St. Vincent. Miranda turns into a Cerberus. I leap over, start wailing away on St. Vincent. You know, his first 3 damage reductions with Soul Stones, he flipped to severe. So that was a little frustrating. And St. Vincent, with all the corpses around, is almost as efficient as a Soul Stone miner in creating a Soul Stone every freaking turn. So he got a lot of mileage off of that particular upgrade. And I think in this crew it's pretty good because there's going to be an awful lot of corpses. You can always kill a corpse candle if need be because Reva will summon it right back the next turn, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty good take into this crew, that upgrade. I get the rabbit in there. I'm going to keep him attached to Reva as much as possible with an upgrade on him. You got to kill him 3 times. Just be annoying. It's what I should have done earlier when I misplayed it. And then I'm trying to really press the action into that corner. As you can see, he did some tossing with his land pads and got a land pad around. He'll cap that last one, which means he's capped 4 of the strategy markers. So he's in pretty good shape there. I've only got 3 done myself. So you can see the Blessed is joining the mix, trying to take down Mr. The other thing he's doing, is he's discarding cards, so my attacks are hitting the damn, what do you call them? Shield bearer. Miranda had actually attacked the shield bearer at some point earlier, so he's got a poison 1 on him. So he would actually go down at the end of this turn because I got him down to his 1 health. But yeah, I've got the Blessed in there. I'm just all about killing St. Vincent and trying to get some scheme markers on that terrain at this point. It's obvious I'm going for sabotage. He's picked up at least 1 marker of mine that I had dropped. But because everything's so close in, I couldn't score that first point. Just showing the positions of the land pads. Not sure why I took this. Close-up shot of St. Vincent trying to run away from the Cerberus. So with the shield bearer gone, I'm able to get more damage onto St. Vincent, get through his stones. The Soulstone Miner charges St. Vincent, kills him, and then runs back. Finishes him off. Cerberus had done a ton of damage to St. Vincent and chewed through the stones, got him down to 2 health, and then leapt back there in contact with the strategy marker at this point. So I see an opportunity. He had attacked, I believe, with a corpse candle, the arcane effigy who was holding the lodestone at this point. And he brought it down to a single health. He had taken a point of damage some other time. And I think his thought process was if he could kill it, it would jump it over to Marcus, and then Marcus is going to have to eat an AP dealing with the lodestone. But he failed. So what I did is I disengaged from the corpse candle and then walked through a pyre marker to give myself burning and be really close to the Cerberus there, so that when I die at the end of the turn, the lodestone will automatically go to the closest friendly model. Don't need line of sight, and I'll be able to score if the Cerberus is still there. Score the strategy. So at this point, I figure he's got hidden martyrs, some form or fashion. So I figure with the land pad, one of the land pads have it, and clearly the only other eligible model would be the Restless Spirit. And so I think I've got flight at this point on Marcus. Um, I send Marcus over, bring the or the Restless Spirit down to a single health. I actually flipped a red Joker on damage. Didn't want to finish him off for obvious reasons. Cheated a min damage down to get it to a single health so that he would not qualify for the end point. He's also sitting there in case Reva kills the Cerberus. He would then get the lodestone and still be able to score the strat. Some of the positioning is not right here. The Reva kills the Restless Spirit herself because he had already gone in the turn, and through doing that, uses one of her triggers that allows any scheme markers within 2 inch of the target to oh god, what's it called? To be converted to a corpse. So that scheme marker of mine is not there. It is now a corpse marker. He moves the land pad up at this point to score the second point of Hidden Martyr. He thought the Cerberus was worth 9. Should have double checked that. He had three more inches of movement, so we said that he would have been engaging Marcus, so that qualified. So he's able to declare his Hidden Martyr. So I get another strategy point, but I failed to get any schemes. He gets the strategy as well as 1 point for the scheme. So Reva wins 5-4. It's maybe she's, people should take a second look. She's got some tools for this particular scenario. I'm going to point out in a second here in my recap. But before I did that, I got a couple things I wanted to go over. So I learn a heck of a lot more when I lose than when I win. And so I think about this game, and I made a number of mistakes. The first being in my crew design. I think that this particular strategy is going to see, at least for Arcanists, anything with lures is going to be good. I would have dropped the Arcane Effigy and taken a Showgirl. Yeah, it's two more soul stones, but I got the soulstone miner in there, and having a lure that could have pulled his models out, gotten them out of position. The land pads are hard to pin down because they have that hover flame, but I could have pulled them in and then tossed them with Kojo, which is a 10-inch toss, and really, really, really gotten them, just somewhere where they didn't want to be. I think that lure would have been the way to go. The second is scheme selection. I lost this. This is where I lost the game. The minute I selected the schemes, as long as Josh didn't play total knucklehead, and while I don't think he played his best game because he's learning the crew, he didn't play it as efficiently. He played well enough, and kept his eye on what he was trying to do. So I chose a model for Take Prisoner that wants to stay as close as possible to its crew. It's not going to wander away. And then B has Take the Hit, which if I'm going to attack any of his crew, he can literally force me to attack him and kill the model. That's just bonehead. Part of it's not knowing what models do. Yeah. But we got time. I could have gone over his crew in the app easily. So total bonehead. And then B, sabotage. Reva is a model that's going to hang back. It's a model that has the ability to turn scheme markers into corpse markers. with an attack. With a pretty, kind of a big bubble, he can attack his own models to do it. So, um, and in a corner deployment, there's going to be very few pieces of terrain, and they're going to be clustered together versus, say, a standard deployment where you got a bunch of terrain spread across the whole table, and so maybe you can go at one flank or the other. Um, the sabotage was just another poor selection in this particular scheme set. It's one I like. I think I'm going to take it a lot, but this is one I'm going to think really hard about taking into corner. I'm going to think really hard about taking it against a crew that's going to generally hang back, a shooty crew, an obey crew, a support master style, etc. So I think I had an uphill battle the minute I selected the scheme. Interestingly enough, we both scored 4 points on the strat. My initial impression of the strat was it's going to be one that's going to be easy to get 3. It's going to be harder to get the 4th. But the way this one turned, and maybe that is in some of the, maybe a flank or something. But certainly in this one, I felt that both of us were pretty capable of pulling the 4th strat. The one mistake I do think that Josh made is, he's got a push trigger on his attack, and if he could have hit the Cerberus, and we had a couple beers, so maybe he swung and just didn't pull it off because he's got to make it terrifying. He's got an empty hand. He's out of stones. He may not have had the card to do this, but hit his push trigger. He could have pushed the Cerberus towards the arcane effigy, which he didn't see that coming anyways, and out of contact of the strat marker, and then denied me. So he had the ability to deny me at the end. A little disconcerting. I didn't realize that till I started looking at the Reva card. But again, I don't think he saw that I ran through and was purposely going to kill my own model and get the lodestone over there. Gets into not understanding Reva crew. This happens a lot in Malifaux. This is why we play practice games. The first time you play a crew, you're always on a back foot. You don't understand it. You don't see what it does. The attacking out of corpse candles and corpse markers cost me the Slate Ridge Mauler. I could have easily have. There's a, and this is going into the final point. I exposed them, put them out there. I did not tool them up. I could have put armor on them. I could have put butterfly, the flight feathered wings, which would have given him butterfly jump. So take 1 hit. So I should have tooled them up if I was going to have them wander away from the crew, and then B, I should have been keeping track of the threat range for Reva. I was thinking more of attacking and some pew pew, not attacking through the corpses. That's one of her things, and it's really good. Effectively gives her a slightly over 11-inch threat range. And then, like I said, I exposed the Slate Ridge Mauler, so that was a lot of points that went down the tubes, and I did not get what I was trying to do with the Slate Ridge back. So just looking at Reva, because this is the one master that got some serious buffs, and I'm pulling up the errata so we can look, so I can go over the changes. I think that they're good changes for they got rid of some of the discarding a card to summon a corpse candle, and the corpse candle comes in with burning 1, which is extremely important because Reva gained the channel flame, which allows her to pull off burning from a friendly marker, or lower the burning condition by 1 to get a positive. So she was oftentimes swinging at positive. So effectively that ethereal reaping or feed on grief, which he used both, were at positives on 6. That's you're gonna hit a lot with that. Absolutely. Back to that last slide real quick. Again, not understanding the attacking out a corpse, as you can see here, it's went while unengaged. So I could have easily have had the jackalope engaged with the with Reva here, and she would have just had, even if she could do the pulled here and there trigger, she would A, have to use that card, which maybe is a high card in her hand, and B, that's 1 AP. That was not attacking the bear. That's a minimum of 3 damage he would not have taken. He would have survived that turn. Could have done some, gotten Miranda over there for healing. He can self-heal, all the fun things with the bear. So just, again, kind of a mistake. Anyways, we're talking about Reva, not my jackalope. You pull here or there. This is why I think she's pretty good in this particular scenario, with the ability to get, the corpse candles to get where she needs. She can hit the models. Any pushing in this scenario, any way to move enemy models, I just think is really, really, really good. It's just no ifs, ands, or buts. So, which is why laugh off is pretty important also in this particular scenario. But it's a dang good trigger there. Some of the other changes, I don't know if they mattered much or came up, but I'd take a second look at her. She's fast herself. It was move 7 unimpeded, and she's got some pretty good models in her keyword in St. Vincent and a Lampats. So that's it. Hope everybody enjoyed this battle report. Stay healthy out there. And since there's not a lot going on, I've been sending a barrage of memes to my various chat channels that I belong to with friends, and texting, parents and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to throw in one meme for this one. Take care of yourself. Keep flipping those cards. And hopefully we'll see you next week.